So we closed kind of in the upper bound for today. I think we only had one significant dip after bouncing this morning for no apparent reason on the back of or slightly increased unemployment numbers. But none of the data really mattered. I think most of this is just all positioning for NFP tomorrow and unemployment tomorrow, which will matter. They're probably our most important data set of the entire week, and that's going to be out in the pre-market. So I guess be prepared for that. This puts us just closing right below our bull confirm on futures. Obviously, if the data tomorrow is good, I suspect we'll see the upside of 4,600. I'm not sure by how much, but I think we can go as high as like 4630 something. So that much range is at least open there. I know there's a little bit of resistance here on the trend at like 4618. Commodities bounced back a little bit today after 4 consecutive days of decline. Dixie ended up closing the day lower, 53 basis points, and yields closed a little higher than their local low, but not significantly. It seems mostly in the 10, 20, and 30 year. 1 month correlation didn't really move much. 3 month correlation also not much. Negative 0.52 on the forward yield for volatility. So still a good distance from 0%. We saw a big breakdown in the USD JPY today due to some yen futures positioning and some statements from Yoda last night that Japan may be moving to a positive interest rate sooner than expected, which could be as soon as the next meeting. Looks like bond vol's up a bit. VIX futures VIX futures moved up today, as did VIX, despite the climb in the market. And normally I would say that's due to sold calls being squeezed out, but I don't think we squeezed out very many sold calls today. There just simply wasn't any above us. 75% of the S&P 500 above its 20-day moving average. NQ was the big star today and closed up 135 BPS. GME still doesn't look that great on the liquidity side. Still super liquid. Did start a run up this morning on the back of a huge amount of puts closing. I don't know. There's still calls left on the chain between 14 and 16. There's 1650 calls that are sold, which we didn't break out of today. Depending on capitulation on the call side, there may not be much left there, but we'll see. I guess I suspect most of the calls on GME that are long probably expire tomorrow or next week. So do with that what you will. But rejected off of the sold calls at 1650 into the end of the day. We'll see how liquidity looks tomorrow morning. Upstart really didn't gain any ground today. Matter of fact, lost almost a percentage point. Still sitting above Gamma Max, but they are starting to short it a little more heavily. Fubo bounced off of 308, which is its local support, but it looks like it's kind of continuing its downtrend. If we see Russell drop off over the next few days, this may start to fall back below $3. And then, I'd be looking at the lower trend here. I don't know, around like 275 for support. Siri had a little bit of volume today, but it still looks like shit. Macy's bounced a little today. So top still crossed over, but not enough volume today to force any covering. So yeah, we haven't seen any covering there yet. Minimal like rotation of liquidity between ETFs and top, but no volumetric covering. So we're still waiting on that one. Beyond actually managed to climb back up above the put wall despite the short this morning and recovered some of that positioning. I would imagine that Delta and Gamma Neutral are going to move down once again, maybe below $10 today. And I think a lot of the shorting today was an effort to get push price as far away from Delta and Gamma Neutral as possible so that if they do cover, the market maker can absorb a lot of the shock of that impact and provide liquidity to the upside. I think that's about it. Google and AMD had some pretty crazy days today. Google's got a new chatbot. AMD's got a new chip, but the rest of the Mag 7 outperformed as well. I think that's about it. Plop. Still holding my regarded 240p. Okay. My favorite part is regardless of what their internal model suggests, by the start of 2027, banks are required to hold capital equal to at least 72.5% of the amount indicated by the standard. Oof. Rough. Banks aren't gonna come play on the SPX with us anymore? That's sad. They'll have to open up so many more tiny little hedge funds, little pod shops. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a good night, everybody. Later.